What's going on, YouTube? Today, once again, they've given me another Dodge Charger to have fun with. And this is a 2022 model Dodge Charger GT, 300 horsepower, 3.6 liter V6, rear wheel drive. And you guys already know I reviewed this one. Just go check that video out if you want to see me review this one. But today we're just gonna be running errands with this thing, seeing what it's like to live with this one, because again, I live in a city, and this Dodge Charger, we're gonna see how it handles in the city, to be honest, one. And two, we're gonna talk about how I feel about this one, like having this one in the city, what it's like living with the Charger in the city daily life with the Dodge Charger. Because again, this ain't no V8 though, but it is a Charger at heart. It has that simple, basic Charger mentality. And honestly, it's not bad, to be honest. And you guys already know the power outputs of this thing. 300 horsepower. And rear wheel drive in Canada makes for a fun experience and also a crazy one at the same time too though. So let's see how this baby handles. Of course, since we're in rear wheel drive, we're gonna obviously put it in sport mode. We already are in sport mode, and we already have traction control off. We are in drive. Let's see if I can turn traction control fully off. Turn off all electrical assistance. Electronic stability control off. Didn't know they had that, but okay. So let's see. If we decide this is an empty parking lot and in an empty racetrack too, so nice, very nice, sweet little drift. Again, it doesn't have enough power to make the drift last any longer, so that kind of sucks. But to be honest, that's what really sucks about this car though. It doesn't feel like a proper V8 Charger one. I mean, it is a V6 obviously though, but since it doesn't have the power for you to really have fun, you can't really spin your wheels, one. Two, and you can't go sideways properly. I mean, you could if you really wanted to, but it's just much harder. Like, you're gonna have to turn off traction control off completely, like what I just did. Like, I have no electronic stability, no nothing. But then if you think about it though, like with all those go-tos gone, like most people don't even know how to drift properly, one. Two, they don't even know how to even turn off traction control properly off. So by doing this, it's kind of like, it's mad, to be honest. It's an okay base model. It's great. It's okay for people who don't have experience with rear wheel drive cars. But honestly, I would say this thing is just okay. It's not crazy. It's not fast. You're not outrunning anybody. That will bring me into my second point. It's a V6. It doesn't sound good. The exhaust, it might try all as it might. It honestly does not sound good at all. And if you try to go to a car meet with this thing, people are gonna little bro you. You can try to meet up with people with similar minds, to be honest, but then again, people are gonna little bro you, one. Two, they're also gonna treat you like a kid, because this is an entry-level American muscle car. Basically, this is an entry-level American car. So since it's entry-level, even though it doesn't garner as much respect, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish people would respect you for whatever car you drive, but it's not usually like that. So since it's an entry-level muscle car, people tend to not give it its credit, really. It's not quick. It doesn't have a great 0 to 60 time. It looks great though. That's one of the redeeming factors of this one. It looks great, and it's rear wheel drive. And another thing I kind of don't like is that it's manual. But to be honest, that's not big for me, to be honest. I really don't care if it's automatic or manual, because again, we commute a lot in the city. So since we commute a lot in the city, it'll be really annoying changing gears every 3 seconds just because there's a traffic light or there's a roadblock or there's a stop in front of me somewhere, it will get really annoying just constantly changing gears all the time. So plus or negative, I'm gonna put it as a neutral. Most people say that, oh, that's a negative because no, it's not a real car since it has an automatic transmission. But to me, it's a V6 and it does its job well. I know if you want more traction, for example, you would go get the all-wheel drive V6, which again people would bash and say, oh, it's a V6 either way. But honestly, it's not too bad. Another thing I don't like about this one is the way this thing handles. Of course, there's always gonna be some kind of stereotype that American cars are only good in straight lines, which is kind of true though. But to be honest, yeah, you guys are right. You guys are honestly right, because if you try to put this in a corner too quickly, with traction control off, you are gonna spin out, you are gonna spin your tires, you're gonna lose traction, and it just doesn't handle as well as other base model, for example, German cars. Base model German cars will handle so much better compared to this one. And honestly, this one has its own strengths, its own weaknesses, and its strengths aren't really showcased well in the base model. Like, it's more weaknesses that the higher models cover up, to be honest. And that's what I think about this one, to be honest. Like, yes, it does have strengths. It does have its strengths. It does have a lot of weaknesses, because again, it's in the shadow of the better, bigger ones, basically. But hey, one of its greatest strengths is the way this thing looks. This thing looks really good for pretty much most muscle cars. And if we get into, for example, the Challenger is arguably the best looking muscle car in my opinion. And this one, it's okay, it's a second close, but it's not great as well too. And just how this cabin feels, let's just add this to another reason why I really don't like this one as well. The cabin feeling. Yes, it's spacious, yes, it's roomy, but it doesn't have that extra feel or nice touch to it. Like, for example, the BMW would have a whole lot of features in it to show its luxury or to show its sportiness. This one, like, for example, BMW have sport mode, then sport plus. This one has regular sport mode, which just improves lower end torque and lets it redline a little bit more. The transmission isn't as crazy when you put it in sport, to be honest. For, let's say, if we compare it to, again, this is probably not a fair comparison, but I'm going to use BMW all over again. If we compare it to BMW, it's not as smooth. The transmission, when you put it in sport, it's not as harsh. Like, if you put a BMW into sport, the transmission is hard, it shifts aggressively. This one tries to do that, but it doesn't do a really great job of it, to be honest. But it does try its best. For a V6,